Chapter 9 is on relations. I don't remember if it's quadratic or quadrant, and conic sections. Now, conic sections are a favorite of mine, but I've lost my green globs and graphing equations program when my computer crashed last year, and you can't get it. The best they can do now is GeoGebra, and I done a little training with it, but not enough. So if you want to try GeoGebra, you can go online, I think it's this way, and practice stuff, and then you could probably teach me. So Nathan, that's probably something you'd want to do. Okay, in this section, we're going to be writing equations of conic sections. We're going to graph them, and we're going to solve quadratic systems. So instead of solving linear systems like x plus 2y equals 7 and 3x minus 5y equals -2, I have no idea if that'll work or not. We're going to solve those that have x squared or y squared or both. Okay, first lesson, we're going to apply the distance and midpoint formulas. So suppose you want to determine the number of miles from your house, and we'll use Ben's, because that's close to Underwood, to my nephew's place near Carson, and we're just going to figure out how far it would be to fly. So Ben, you have an airplane, and we're flying to my nephew Ty's place. Okay. So let's look at those addresses. 1892 3rd Street Northwest. Okay, streets run east and west, and avenues run north and south. Okay, so when we have this 2896, that's at like 29th Avenue and then the 3rd Street. Okay, so if you think about this in relationship to North Dakota, if here's the center, which is over between Pickersville and McCluskey and south a couple miles. Okay, so Ben would be, from there, he would be 29 miles west and 3 miles north. So let's go the west first. So that'd be -29 and 3 north. North is typically up. All right, for my nephew. Okay, so that would be 57th Avenue South. So he's over here somewhere. So -57. And then 6045 is about 60.5 miles south. So now we've got the ordered pairs just from the address. Now that we have the ordered pairs, we could find the distance between those two residences. Okay, so some of you are going to say, well, I'm going to go use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so you're going to go from -29 to -57. Isn't that 28 miles? And then in this direction, it would be 63.5 miles. And use Pythagorean theorem. 28 squared plus 63.5 squared equals c squared. And that would work. Okay, I paused to put this in my calculator, and I got 4816.25 is my c squared. So c turned out to be 69.4 miles. So that's how far apart they were. Okay. Well, let's take a look what would happen if we used the distance formula. Okay, do you use it? Do you know it? There it is. This is simply finding your change in your x direction. This is finding your change in your y direction. So if we were to put this in for us in the from the points on the previous page, the distance would be the x's -29 minus -57 squared, and then the other one would be, sorry about the bell, 3 minus negative 60.5 squared. Guess what we get? 28 squared, because you'd add the opposite, and 63.5 squared. Okay. And note, it does not matter which is 0.1 and which is 0.2, because then you just end up squaring a negative number rather than a positive number. Okay, so we got the same thing. Okay. Here it is. You don't know what your future holds. I hope it's going to be wonderful, but who knows if you're going to be one that needs a distance formula. Just in case it is you, let's practice. Okay? So in this case, the distance would be the difference of the x's squared, the difference of the y's squared. You add those two, and then square root the sum. So we get negative 25, we will square that, that's a 25. And we've got negative 9, and we'll square that. So we got the square root of 625 plus 81. So that'd be the square root of, isn't it 706? And you can do that on your calculator as well as I can. Righty? There are times you're going to need to find your middle, whether it's of metal or wood when we are constructing something, or of a highway when you're going from, say, Dickinson to Fargo, or when you're flying a drone or an airplane. Okay, so when we looked at not the longitude and latitude, but the address, I'm going to change that. The address of the point that is in the middle of our flight from Ben's place to my nephew's place. Okay, so what's in the middle of negative 29.3 and negative 57, negative 60.5? Okay, do you remember how to find midpoints? Okay, well, the midpoint is a point. I think that's here. The midpoint is a point. You get an x and a y. Okay, so when we put this in, we're going to have negative 29 plus negative 57 and divided by 2. And the same with the y's. 3 plus negative 60.5 and divide that by 2. Right, I got negative 86 over 2, so that would be negative 43. So it would be 43rd Avenue West. And then the other one, I've got negative 57.5 over 2. So I got negative 28.75. So then the address would be 43rd Avenue Southwest, and about 2875 would be the house number. Right, here's a practice problem for us. To find the midpoint, again, it's going to be a point. Average the x's, average the y's. It helps so much if you actually have a visual. Okay, so if we were to put this on a coordinate plane, it might actually make more sense. So if we have negative 3.8 and 22.17, halfway in between, does it make sense that it's 9.5, 12.5? So even a quick visual like that might make all the difference of knowing if you're right or not right. Another thing we need to review before we move on into the chapter is slope. When you find the slope of a line, remember it's difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. This is telling you how much you rise, and this is telling you how much you run. Remember, positive slopes will go up, negative slopes will go down to the right. Okay. So when we put this in, because the 17 is bigger than the 8, they're going to go 17 minus 8 and 22 minus negative 3. Again, it does not matter which is 0.1 and which is 0.2. It's positive slope. This is the same 2 points that are on the previous page. So if you go back and look at the visual, it does make sense that it's going up 9 and right 25. Okay. Here we go. Good question. How much prompting would you need to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of the segment with endpoints, should have this, endpoints 5, 3 and 8, negative 2? Okay. So perpendicular and bisector. So perpendicular, we're going to need the slope. And bisector, we're going to need the midpoint. Okay? And then we're going to need our point slope form, maybe. That'd probably be the easiest. Let's try it. So the slope would be 3 minus negative 2 over 5 minus 8. So I get 5 over negative 3. But the perpendicular would be positive 3/5. Remember, reciprocal and opposite? Okay. Midpoint. Average the x's. 5 plus 8 over 2. Average the y's. Okay, so I've got 13 over 2, and I have 1 over 2. Okay, it wasn't the nicest, but we'll live with it. And now we can write the equation. Y minus the y equals slope x minus the x over midpoint. And that's our perpendicular bisector. If you want to put it in a different form, you're good at algebra, you could do that. Right, I think I'm going to run out of time for this. We'll start here. Remember from geometry, the perpendicular bisector of any chord of a circle passes through the center of the circle. So if it is the perpendicular bisector of the chord, that is a line, and that line contains a diameter. So if you have 2 chords, and I'm sorry, this isn't perfect. If you have 2 chords, the point shared by those perpendicular bisectors would be the center of your circle. All right, so I have an example. Okay. A circular swimming pool has a slide at point B, the B is down here, and stairs at point C and A and C, excuse me. Use the label points. Use the labels of the points to estimate the diameter of the circle. And think of each unit being 1 meter. Okay? So I don't know about you, but I think this chord and this chord would be the easiest to work with because of that 0, 0. Right? So the midpoint of BC would be negative 3, 4. The slope of BC would be down 8 over 6, or negative 4/3. So the slope of the perpendicular would be 3/4. And when I go back to that form, y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Okay. Well, this time I am going to get rid of stuff. So when I multiply both sides by 4, that's going to get rid of my fraction. So I'll have 4y minus 16 equals 3x plus 9. And that will become negative 3x plus 4y equals 25. And now I got to pause and do the rest on the next video.